And if we get this cut, a big cut or otherwise, how would you like to see that paid for?
Well, we're talking about a dramatic reduction. It's going to take taxes down about $2 trillion over a decade. There will be reforms in entitlements over the next several years. You're looking at block granting Medicaid, for starters, as part of the Obamacare repeal and reform. But remember, before we get to the tax cut, there's Obamacare repeal, which is $1 trillion tax cut itself. And then you move over and take the corporate rate from 35 to 20, the individual rates down to 30, top rate 33%, 25, 12, abolishes the death tax, abolishes the AMT, goes to full business, immediate full business expensing, loss carry forward without caps, and the pay for that you're talking about, the border adjustable tax, raises $1 trillion, but it's net about a $2 trillion plus tax reduction over a decade. So it's a dramatic tax reduction, very pro-growth, and we're having a debate about the last piece of it, which is the border adjustment, although I think since none of the critics of border adjustment have put forward any alternative at all, that at the end of the day, the package that the president endorsed last night and spoke towards being devised in the House of Representatives with Senate support is what will pass.
Grover, help me understand here what lawmakers are operating from. Is it the Ryan Brady plan? When you hear that Gary Cohn is working on something in the White House, do you think it's going to be pretty hand in glove with what's going on in Capitol? How different do you think those two plans are going to be?
They'll be very similar because, remember, they started, the House was at 25% a year ago, and then candidate Trump said 15, and the House moved towards Trump. Then Trump turned around and had his own plan on individual rates, but accepted the House's individual rate plan. And then Trump said, you know, I don't have full immediate business expensing. The House plan did, and he accepted that. So these plans for almost a year, 9 months or so, have been coming together. They've been meeting regularly. The governors are involved in this in conference calls, dealing with how you deal with, first, the issue of Medicaid being block granted. And again, because you cut $1 trillion from taxes by getting rid of Obamacare, what you have to raise in tax reform is, over a decade, $1 trillion lower. So the two are very connected, and that's why Trump and the House Republicans always go Obamacare, tax cut, Obamacare, tax cut. There's a reason one follows the other. If you stumble on Obamacare, the tax cut gets delayed. So all of the pressure for the tax issue also applies to getting rid of the Obamacare taxes and reforming health care.
We did get some specifics on what might come after the Affordable Care Act. The president talking about getting tax credits here to buy insurance. Is that something that you're in favor of? Does that make sense to you, what the president outlined in that regard last night?
Yes, and what he outlined is completely in sync with what the House is looking at doing. Tremendous increases in health savings accounts, the number of people who can have health savings accounts, the size of them, and then tax credits to help people on the margin, a high-risk pool to take care of people with pre-existing conditions, and for people who got Medicaid, block granting that to the states and giving the states a lot more leeway on how they administer it. That is exactly the House Trump plan that's come together.
How contingent is all of this on the border adjustment tax? In other words, if we don't get this, does all of this fall apart?
Well, if you don't have the border adjustable, you have two problems. One, in order to make it deficit neutral in year 11, which is what you have to do to have it happen inside reconciliation, and therefore only need 51 votes in the Senate, but still be permanent. Trump and the Republicans do not want another temporary Bush tax cut, which disappeared at the end of 10 years. They want a permanent tax cuts, and the business community would very much prefer permanent to iffy, you know, something that disappears like the Cheshire Cat. So everybody wants permanent, which is why it has to be within 51 votes, and we can do it with 51 votes, but it has to be deficit neutral in year 11 and out.